Welcome to Red Pill Diaries. It's Craig. I've had a very strange Mandela effect the last few days, and I had to talk about it. I've actually had two, but I'm going to talk about one of them. And it's really strange that I should even get any in my life. The most profound one I ever had before was the one in one of the James Bond movies. I think it's called Moonraker. I think it's the Moonraker movie, where the woman has a pair of braces, and and we all know it was a pair of braces. You know why? Because it's really funny when Jaws in the movies he's like, you're like, oh no, this woman's gonna get killed, and she's a little cute blondie, and then he smiles and it reflects, and the joke is, of course it's a joke, that she smiles too. It's like, oh, he's not going to kill her because they make a good couple. And then we're meant to believe now that she doesn't have braces, and even the woman who acted in the part remembers that she didn't have braces. So she is even clouded as far as, well, for all I know, that we're retroactively programmed wrong. But here's the thing that's really weird. So my mum, her whole life, her last name is Zamore. It's taken originally from a Spanish town called Zamore, and it was misspelled in Poland in the 1800s or something like that, or 1700s, as Zamre with a Y, because in this part of the world where I am right now, a J is a Y, right? So it's Zamre with a EJ at the end. Anyway, he finished the Second World War, fought against the Russians first of all, then the Germans, and then went to Scotland. And I'm guessing that maybe the name is just too difficult to pronounce. Because what I thought first of all was that they misspelled, or the Catholic Church misspelled my mum's name, because the first record I saw was, well, let me backtrack a little bit. I'm applying to get a Polish passport, right? There's a thing called an unbroken chain. It's a way to get a Polish passport, and you can do it through DNA apparently too, but I don't have to do it that way. So basically, it's to get, so I can get an EU passport, because my British passport is no longer an EU passport, right? Anyway, long story short, about a year and a half ago, I started embarking on this mission to get my mum Polish citizenship, so then I could get my Polish citizenship, my brother could get his as well, right? Now, my whole life, it's your mum. You know your mum. She's there. It's mum. You've gone on holidays with her. You looked at her passport. You would have noticed if her fucking name ended in a Y. It's never ended in a Y. She doesn't believe so either, but she does remember the fact that the name was misspelt, according to her. And I said, well, actually, no. Now that I've got the records back from the... look, if I don't mind sharing my life so much, I would actually show you the emails. It's actually really trippy. So the guy from the National Records of Scotland has told me that, no, I'm wrong. It wasn't misspelled when she was born. It was misspelled before she was born. So in other words, my grandfather came to Scotland after the Second World War. He was sunk by a German U-boat, taken in by collected by another German U-boat, and he called that guy in a book called The Sinking of the Laconia. He called that guy the greatest gentleman he's ever known. And he picked them up in a U-boat, took them to Northwest Africa, and he was in a POW camp until the Americans came and liberated them at the end of the war. Went back to Scotland, and then actually him and my grandmother got attacked because everyone thought he was a Nazi because his accent, even though he's Polish and fought against the Nazis. It's just insane, but that's how dumb people are. So what ended up happening was he it looks like what he has done, from what these guys in the records office have told me, is that he either misspelled his name, or someone misspelled his name, and they just carried on with it, or he wanted to change his name. Before 1965, you could just change your name. What doesn't make sense is that my mum could, after 1965, could go from having a name that ends in a Y, which is a misspelling, but the new spelling, let's say, and then change it back to the old one, which she never had her name. Like, her name never ended in a J her whole life. But for some reason, even after 1965, when they made it a law now that you have to actually change your name on record. But she didn't do that. But what she did do is change all of our birth certificates to ending in a J, which is the original spelling, which is not her spelling, because my grandparents had already changed it. So they shouldn't have let her do that. And I thought she'd changed it in New Zealand when she moved there later on, but the guy from the records office in Scotland said, no, he's checked it there, and it's a Y there as well. And I'm like, Mum, do you not know this? Oh, it's because your dad, he did it, blah, blah, blah. She just basically, she infantiled herself. My parents are both annoying in their own ways. They're both amazing people, but both extremely annoying and probably worse than I am. Anyway, people. So she infantilized herself as if it was all men that do everything, and she couldn't ever decide anything for herself, even though she's like nearly 70 years old now and actually quite headstrong. So just blame, point finger, blame everyone else, right? But that said, I never remember her name being a Y. Neither does she, which is a good thing. Neither does my brother Michael, which is great as well. It's just really odd. It's in my own life. Anita! No, she's not here. There was another one. There was two of them. That's just weird. I've never ever had a Mandela effect in my own life. Now I've got two of them. Hey, what was that second Mandela effect that we had today? Not my parents' one with the spelling. What was the other one? Can you remember?
The James Bond movie.
No. That's not in my one. That's in my life. Remember how I said there was something in our life that was. It doesn't matter. If you think of it, tell me. But yeah. The other one is just extremely profound because, okay, my cousins, for example, it would mean that my cousin's middle name ends in a J, right? Because he has Philip Zamri, then his last name Graham, I think is it. My brother has the last name of our family, but he has also Zamri in the middle, like his name number 3. I don't know why. Now, I thought this would be my mum changing it back because she does these little things like my brother Paul, who's called Paul, his name is actually John Paul, right? Pretentious bullshit that people used to do. Actually, people have done for years, like hyphenating surnames. In the year 1990 to about 2000 odd, it was quite common to hyphenate surnames if you're a pretentious fuck. Well, my mum did the same kind of thing as well, right? So that's why my brother Scott is Andrew Scott instead of just Scott, right? And we call him Scott. It's just fucking dumb, right? So she's created this problem for us, but she shouldn't have been able to create the problem because they should have said from 1965 onwards, and I'm born in 77, that she has to give a formal name change. Yet her name on my birth certificate is a J, which has never been her name as long as she's lived, and even to this day. You know why? She's never done a name change. So even though we all remember her name is ending in a Y, a J, sorry, it actually has ended in a Y for the last 40 odd years in South Africa, New Zealand, Scotland, and where else? That's it, I think. South Africa, New Zealand, Scotland. Yeah, those 3 places. That's where she's lived, right? Some weird shit. My cousin lives in Japan. His passport has a J. I mean, because my mum and her sister, that means they were born from a grandfather who changed his name and into a Y. So how did this J thing carry on? It's the weirdest fucking thing. But anyway, to apply for my Polish passport, it looks like now that I don't have a mother. She doesn't exist on any records because Katrina with a J Katrina Zamri with a J has never existed. Therefore, I don't exist. I don't know. Maybe I was the Immaculate Conception, but apparently I don't exist. So I said to the guy in the Ulrich's office, I said to him, hang on, if she had to have changed her name from 1965, because that was the rules, before that you could do what you like, but after that you couldn't, then how could she just rename herself then when her name ends in a Y and put in my birth certificate that her name's in a J? Surely that's an error. Surely you should have to correct my record. No. But then I'm dealing just with bureaucracy here. So I've got a mixture of Mandela effect and fucking bureaucracy that's stopping me from doing anything. It's like a catch-22 situation now. But damn, I wish I could remember the other one. It's so annoying. But yeah, in the space of 1 week, 2 Mandela effects in my whole life, I've had Mandela effects. I've been Mandela affected in things that are with other people. But to have 2 that are to do with my own life and things that we remember within our family and multiple people, It's just straight. I can't remember the other one, so let's just pretend it's just one. Even that's fucking freaky out of nowhere. Anyway, that's what's happening right now in my life. It's fucking weird. I can't explain it. It's, I mean, I've, let me think. You have to understand, I've moved around a lot. I've tried to get, my residency permit in many countries. I've got my green card in America. I've got my citizenship in New Zealand. I've got a residency permit in Bulgaria and Slovenia, and I've I think I said a green card in America already. I've got a lot of things for a lot of places. Every single time you get these things, you have to take your birth certificate, your parents. You need to show what flights you've done in different countries. How would I have not noticed that all the records that I have to, by the way, for all of these visas, I've had to get a photocopy, then fucking signed by a justice of the peace or a notary public, right? And you're telling me all that time I never noticed that the name was a J, and that my three brothers, when they've gone through, because they live in all different countries as well, like Norway and shit, that they've never noticed this either, and that my mum hasn't really noticed it, and that, oh, I did notice it once when I changed the spelling here and there. In New Zealand, they gave her divorce certificate, for example. It does have a J. It's the first official record there is with a J. And I said, you know what's really funny about this, Mum? That means that you and my dad never divorced, and that my dad's a bigamist. Because he's basically, he got married to Katrina Zamre with a Y and divorced Katrina Zamre with a J. So therefore it doesn't exist. It's going to be so hilarious when my ultra judgmental, super Christian, hypocritical stepmom in Cape Town finds out that my dad's still actually married under the eyes of the Lord. The Lord and the law, whatever. It's really funny. But yeah, I find that extremely weird. If you've got any Mandela effects that have happened in your life, just let me know. This is really strange.